Good morning. It's Market Day Report. Welcome to a Monday. Well, it's our final Monday of the month, and it's also the final day of the third quarter. So we get a quarterly grain stocks report, and that comes out in just over a couple of hours from now. So we'll have details on that in a moment. First off, markets are up and trading. Let's go to the corn market. In Chicago, down a penny ahead of that report. December 417 and a quarter, 434 on the March. What about soybeans? Soybeans last week gaining 5.3%, but giving back some of that in early morning trade. November 1061, make that 1061 and a half off 4 and a quarter. And that in spite of a report of a sell overnight to China for soybeans. Wheat, though, bucking the trend. December Chicago, 583 and a half. That's up 3 and a half with new crop 3 and a quarter higher, 619 and a half. Old crop for hard red at 580. That's up 3 and a quarter cents with July 608 and a half, penny and a half higher. And in Minneapolis, up 4 3/4 on the December 613. Cotton market higher as we start the week, 73.16, up 44. Let's bring in Tommy Grisafi. Tommy's with Advanced Trading. Okay, what are you watching?
A lot of things overnight. Let's start something. We're going to go way off on the weirdness, but last night at 5 o'clock when the outside markets opened up, copper exploded higher, and it really caught some people off guard. Now, we've since turned around in all those things, gold, silver, copper, et cetera, but some huge volatility in the outside markets. End of the month, end of the quarter. We do have this report. We see these constant sales coming in from China. China hedging a couple bets here. They got to be careful in Argentina and Brazil. They got to make sure that they're getting those crops in. So they're very savvy traders. On Friday was a unique day, I'll say that, to see soybeans up 30 and wheat on the lows. You're seeing a little unwind of that. You're seeing wheat up, soybeans down a little bit, but pretty much not too bad to see soybeans down 4 and corn down a half after last night. So markets are going to digest everything. Keep an eye on all markets as we are guaranteed for excitement today. End of the month, end of the quarter, 11 o'clock report. It's going to be interesting here. And we got to, of course, we have to continue to think about these folks down in North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida. But I've never seen destruction like that, Tony, and it really bothers me just to talk about it a little bit. And, we got to, those folks need help. We need to get that to them right away.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable when we see the devastation that we've seen through the cities. But we're still not getting the full impact that's being felt by the ag side of this as well. And we've focused on row crop, but we also need to keep in mind the livestock side of this as well. And speaking of livestock, we'll come back and we'll talk cattle and hogs in a moment. Market Day Report continues after this. It's Market Day Report. Let's jump into the livestock markets. We're trading now in Chicago. Live cattle off a quarter on the October at 183.50. December 35 lower, 184.12. All the deferreds are in the red to start the week. And for the feeders, we're seeing a 15-cent loss on October at 246.92. November down 7 at 245.62, and now just turning unchanged on the January contract to start 2025. Hog trade is higher across the board, just a couple of pennies though on October at 82.07, December 73.42. That's a nickel higher. And let's go ahead and throw in milk as well. When you look at milk year to date, up 44%. October, 23.06, down 6 cents, but in a 4-cent trading range. Let's bring back in Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading. Okay, what are you watching in the proteins?
We got to keep an eye on this worker strike. I know RFD's done a great job. I heard Tammy covering the story here on the XM radio, but we could have 50,000 people striking. That's going to affect everything. I mean, everything, East Coast, down in the Gulf. I think they're going to go at midnight, and that is going to be the big story today and actually when it happens. So it's one of those don't watch what they say, watch what they do. But once it happens, and then for how long it happens, you just don't realize how much stuff comes through a container. And of course, if you have anything, it showed up on a truck. And there's some wild things happening. You add these storms and everything else, like you talked about the safety of animals. Real quick, when it comes to cattle, they've had a couple good sell-offs here last few days, and then they rally higher. I'm super interested to see if there'll be profit taking. I do look for a volatile move depending on how they finish up here, but could be an interesting day nonetheless, Tony.
Yeah, and again, going back to the whole idea of that strike coming, how will that affect some of our meat that leaves on that East Coast? And this would be really the first strike in the lifetime of many. I mean, the last one was what, like 77 or so? And when this hits, it's going to hit ag pretty hard.
Yeah. I can't say I'm an expert on it. Sometimes we have to become experts on everything. I will say this. Just think of what happened with that bridge in Baltimore. And that was a small port compared to this. This is 10, 15x what happened in Baltimore by that ship hitting that bridge. So all eyes on that. Stay tuned, folks. It's going to be volatile, but we'll have you covered right here with Tony and Tommy. Right, buddy?
That's it. It's the, well, I was going to say a TNT, but we better throw in the third T here, which is Tammy. So it's the three T's.
Yeah.
Tommy
We're the triple
Grisafi
threat,
with
yeah.
Advanced Trading. You know, on that same note, though, we're heading into holiday shopping season. And according to Adobe, 2024 holiday online shopping will be up 8.4% year over year.